Now we're going to look at something that's pretty important but sometimes overlooked when we talk about the marina space. We're going to discuss marina design and operation with a focus on fusing sustainability with customer experience and operational efficiency. And so joining us to discuss this important aspect, we have Dan Sanchez, President of the cutting-edge waterfront design consultancy, Daniel Sanchez and Associates, and the Managing Director of the worldwide luxury marina network, IGY Marinas, and that's Kenny Jones. Welcome, gentlemen. Oh, okay, casual. Yes, just before Kenny starts. So we will finish by 7, and then there'll be a welcome cocktail. So stick around for spritz. Okay. This is quite the entrance, Dan. You're welcome.
We all love marinas, and every marina thinks they're the best marina in the world, and I can't disagree with that, except I will disagree with it. The real question about marinas is putting the wow back into marinas. Do we have?
Just the button in the middle.
Which one?
Button in the middle. There you go.
So the question is, wow. How do you get a wow? There are 2 major aspects to wow in marinas. The first is design, and the second is implementation through operations. So the question is, what makes your marina really special? Why should a customer come to your marina? You need to think about that. There may be one thing, there may be more things, but really you have to capitalize on it. It can be having enough deep water for the different size boats, whether it's small, medium, large, but you also need to really understand what your elements are, what your attributes are, and what your challenges are, which is a euphemism for problems. So somebody didn't, whoops. How do I go back? Somebody who designed the marina on the right forgot that they didn't have any water, and that's for real. So that doesn't get you a wow marina from your customers. But it also can have a private airport, because we're in the hospitality business, and trying to give hospitality, if you have an airport, is a major thing these days. But the real question is, what are the 3 most important aspects, of design for a wow marina? Does anybody want to take a guess? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? Wow, nobody. The first is functionality. The second, and most important, is guess what? Functionality. And the third is functionality. And the question is really understanding what functionality really means. And it means in the eyes of your customers, because it doesn't matter what you think, it really matters what everybody else using your facility thinks. So what do they want? Everybody wants ease of use, no hassles, worry-free. We're in the hospitality business, so when you come to your hotel or whatever, the same thing applies, okay? But it has to be functional. We live in a very negative society. Forgive me, but it's absolutely true. 90% make it great. You can say somebody, how was how was the plane ride? The plane ride was on time, maybe a little early. The food was great, but they focused on, there was a baby crying most of the way. People focus on the negative, not the positive, and it's the negative that stays in people's minds. And that goes from the largest to the smallest. So, in the eyes of the owners who are their own captains or a paid captain, there are two major things that they look for on security. One is having a safe harbor in terms of winds, storms, and protection, and the other is protection from the land. So people with expensive boats like to be seen, but they don't want everybody on their boat. So in the eyes of the owners alone, it's location, location, location. They will decide where the boat is going to go, but if there's a paid captain, they decide where it will be, where it's going, what marina it will go to at that location. The number one thing that is in people's minds that turn people off is Wi-Fi. I don't care where you are in the world, that is the number one thing that takes place. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, excuse the pun, but you've messed the boat, and it has to work. The number two, which used to be number one, is restrooms. They need to be clean, they need to be attractive. It doesn't cost much these days to do a very attractive restroom, but it is very important. And it's not only important for the boaters, it's more important for the boaters' guests, who the boater wants to make sure that they're having a great time. Oops. Anyway, I skipped one. So one of the big things that is really important is the ouch. You got to remove trip hazards, and this becomes a major issue. People may overlook this all the time. We all have tripped. We've all had a problem. Making it easy and functional, that is a very important approach to life. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Story of my life, here we go. Okay, so this is very important. Mindsets are made in the first 30 seconds. When you go to a facility, whether you've been there before or it's a new facility, especially a new facility, in the first 30 seconds, when you approach that facility, you make up your mind, whether you think about it or not. Your mind is telling you you're going to have a great time or a lousy time. In the next 60 seconds, whatever that first impression is fortified. And in the next 5 minutes, it's cemented in cement. You will not change it, no matter how good you try to accommodate it. So you have to have them clean, neat, aesthetically pleasing. You have to have good signage, whether it's from the land or particularly if you're a destination marina or with transits from the water. An absolute must. So these are just some of the things that you need to understand. Electricity is a big thing. Earlier you heard from Ferrante, why do you need 5 plugs? For 20 years, I have been saying that we need to standardize simple components, whether it's plugs or other things in boat building. We didn't really focus on that with other speakers, but I'm a big believer in it. But so that you have to have adequate electricity. And what you heard today is boats are getting bigger, they're getting wider, they're taking more things with them. So you need to have, good functional approaches to life. So after you do all of these things and you have all of these wow approaches to your design and you've eliminated all of the problems so that somebody will be able to move freely, easily, have a good time, and not have anything that mars their approach to life to turn the wow into an okay, you have to deliver it in terms of service. And that's where Kenny comes in. Kenny Jones, one of my favorite people.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Dan. Firstly, thank you for ICOMIA for inviting me to speak today, and also thank you for the people that have actually stayed behind, because today has thinned out somewhat. So what Dan spoke about there was mainly about the facility itself, but the reality is, and I hope I can do this. Yeah, so the reality is you're going to be wasting your money if you build a beautiful facility that is fit for purpose and everything else like that, if you don't have the right people operating it for you. So really the wow factor that I'm supposed to be talking about in relation to the operation is heavily focused on the people. So from my perspective, I've actually been in the marine industry, sadly, for some 45 years in some form or fashion, but for the last 18 years, I've been proud enough to help IGY develop a really good product over 24 facilities in 14 countries, and I am very, very proud to have been part of that. The reality is that that product itself wasn't generated by me, and I'm going to say it, and the executives. It was really developed by the people on the ground and those personalities. So focusing on the wow factor that's delivered by our good people, there's a lot of talk, and there's been a lot of talk about who. So who really are the decision makers? So just to name a few, so obviously everyone recognizes that the decision maker could be the owner. Well, the owner could be a decision maker. You've got the guests, you've got the captain, you've got the crew, the family office. There's several people that are vested in where that vessel stays and how long that vessel actually stays there. I'm going to go back to the owner. The reality is the owner, from a marina operator standpoint, and I'm talking mainly about the large vessels, is relatively hard to connect with. And from a lot of us, you really don't want to be connecting with the owner too much, because that owner, if you start accommodating that owner and the owner's needs, one, you're going to upset a lot of other vested people into that owner, and also you're just going to get tied up. So I would urge that the owner isn't someone that you would focus on too much. And the same goes for the charter guests. The charter guests, you have no idea how much challenged they will be. You've not met them. They could be anybody. So again, you should really steer away from them. The target personality, in my view, and a lot of the lovely people that I work for, and when I refer to the people I work for, they are the general managers. So those general managers tend to focus a lot heavier on the captains. They then do a lot of effort to support the crew. And I'll come back to the crew shortly. And then when you go down, you've got the family office. Again, they won't want to speak to a marina operator anyway. They'll be focused on the captain. Then you've got the charter agents. You've got the vessel managers. And there's several other people that will, you may feel entitled to talk to and get involved in, but you probably won't have much engagement with, and also, again, you probably don't want to. So, focusing on the captain. So, what we've learned in the 18 years of developing this product, in fact longer, is the relationship to the captain is hugely important, and where possible, the general managers do their best to generate a personal relationship with captains. What I am very happy to be able to do is periodically there's an issue with a vessel or there's an issue with a captain. I know I can send one email out to the general managers across our facilities and ask who has a personal relationship with that captain. And that's hugely valuable. And I'm going to say there's an 80% chance someone will come back and they know that person individually. But that's taken years to grow. So the strap line we sort of try and focus on within my world is we don't want to deal with the owner. We don't want to deal with a charter guest, okay? Our aim is to support the captain in really never saying no to the owner or charter guest, because that's how they're measured. And as a lot of us know in this room, some of these personalities that own yachts of that nature don't ever hear the word no. And in strange environments, different parts of the world, the captains do come across very, very struggling challenges, let's say, where they have to move everything to try not to say no, because their job could be on jeopardy the day they do. So behind the scenes, we've built a rapport with, between the captains and the teams where they feel comfortable coming to us for assistance. And I could write a book on some of the nonsense and some of the craziness that the general manager has had to do to support that captain. But once we've supported that captain, we stand back. We don't take credit for fixing a big issue. Our job is to make that captain look good. Because if we make the captain look good and we build that trust and rapport, the captain will always come back to us because we basically saved his bacon several times. And that has huge value to our business. So it has a dollar value because we want to build occupancy. Build occupancy, you start increasing your rack rate. Everyone's happy, the investors are happy because you're making more money. So we come on to probably the most enjoyable part of what we do, and that is dealing with the crew. So the crew, the way I sort of describe the crew is, for those of you here that have children, you could take those children to a 5-star resort, and if they're miserable, your holiday is a disaster. You'd rather go to a 4 or 3-star resort where your children had a great time, enjoyed themselves, had a story to tell, and your life will be happy. If the crew aren't happy on a yacht, the whole experience is very, very bad, and everybody loses. The average age of the crew on these yachts are sort of 22 to 30 years old, and they have some pretty solid focuses when they join this industry. They want to grow a career and have fun. They want to make money and have fun. They want to work hard and have fun. They want to experience things and have fun. So what we try and do is not hope they have fun when they come and join one of our facilities. We make sure they have fun. We don't ask them, would we like to organize something? We organize it for them, but we organize it at their level. They don't want to go and thoroughly enjoy themselves, and I'm being polite, in front of the adults. We take them away from the captain, take them away from the owner, and we allow them to let their hair down. I tend not to anymore, but they let their hair down and they do have fun. And then we give them back to the captain safe. And that has really, really been a key focus on ours for, well, many, many years. And the end result of that is we start to produce something which is extremely valuable. A lot of people here have played with their phones most of the time today, and they they've looked up on social media, this, that, and the other. So by looking after the crew, we generate our own social media presence, because they love to say, we did this, we did that, photographs, all of that stuff. They send it to their peers on other yachts. The other yachts want to be staying with us because they've just seen their friends have an amazing time while they stayed. Another trick is if you see that the occupancy might start to be reducing because some of the boats are starting to move, lay on a party 2 or 3 days after some of these boats are supposed to be going. The crew will have a fit because they want to be there. So therefore, they will challenge the captains, and you'll be surprised how often a captain will keep the boat there just so their crew are happy and they attend this party. So I genuinely urge you to really focus on the crew. And again, I'm focusing on the larger yachts because even though we have loads and loads of more domestic, smaller yachts in the IGY portfolio, we tend to focus on the larger yachts. And as you can see, there's some photographs of some of the boys and girls having fun. And they're the sober photographs. I'm hoping this is going to work. And it isn't. That's supposed to be a video. So this is one of our events in Ile de Sol on St. Martin. And this is early in the evening. I daren't show what goes on later on at night. But they're young people. They do what young people do. Well, that worked. So finally, I've got a couple of points. Focus on your staff. If your staff aren't happy, they're going to be walking around your facility not being happy. That actually generates a bad environment, and we're supposed to present a fun, lovely environment for our guests. For the marina operators, when you're actually recruiting somebody to run one of your facilities, don't focus on their maritime, marine experience. Try and focus on a personality that's full of enthusiasm and energy. You can teach the business. It's not really that technical. If you support them, you'll end up with an amazing product. You need that energy leading that facility, or else, again, you won't generate occupancy. And for the corporate people out there, just remember that we, and that includes me, are a cost to the business. The people that actually generate the money are the operational staff on the facility. So you should treat them as your customer. You should be supporting them, not them supporting you. The more you do that, the more money they make. Everybody's happy. Your shareholders and yourself have done well. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenny.